It's all here.
Okay, and then where's the AI piece? Okay, it's on. Okay, welcome. Oh, there's Lynn and there's Guy. Welcome to the NESCO and Community Plan Steering Subcommittee, uh, Monday, May 4th.
My dogs don't like that.
Oh, okay. Monday, May 4th meeting, and welcome to subcommittee members here. We have Tom Seep, Lori Kovac, Lynn Saxton, and Guy Sievert. I would,
And Rand Cook.
and Rand Cook, yes, that's my voice. I would ask that we approve the addition of the fireworks ordinance to the agenda. So,
Seconded.
okay, can we have a thumbs up or a acknowledgement? Okay, I've got Guy, Lynn, Lori, and Tom, and myself. Okay,
And to be clear, we're adding it to the agenda. We're not voting on the content.
Right.
we are adding it to the agenda, and anything we can clarify or add to, I mean, the discussion will definitely be far ranging. I have no prediction as to what the outcome will be.
Right. Okay.
So also, Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy. Nancy Vandell has joined us. Well,
Thank you. Thank you, Ran. Sorry, I just spilled coffee all over my kitchen counter, so I'm cleaning up.
oh no, I did
Darn.
that this morning. I guess it's kind of contagious.
God.
I
Full,
wish it
full
on no one
cup.
else.
Thank you. I'm gonna.
I have no conflicts.
Okay.
No conflict.
Okay, we're going to start with that. Okay. Does anyone have any conflict of interest in today's agenda items?
No,
No,
No one has a sideline of fireworks.
I have
Okay.
contributed to the fireworks.
Okay. All right. Guy, would you give me a no
I
conflict?
said no conflicts earlier.
Okay, I missed that. Sorry. Okay, we have no conflict of interest by any subcommittee members. So, I am open to dealing with this in either of two ways. One, we could deal with fireworks now, or we can deal with the community plan first and then deal with the fireworks later. How do you guys feel about it? Sooner or later?
Fine either way.
I'd rather do it sooner.
Okay, Lori, Guy.
Yeah.
Okay, sooner.
Yeah.
Maybe we can sort out what. So Nancy asked me to deal with this fireworks ordinance that is coming up before the commissioners. And I read the ordinance, and it's no surprise there. I guess a number of questions come up. The first one I got was from the head of the NCA, Robin Crowell, going, isn't enforcement the biggest issue? And I would say, yes, that is probably the biggest issue. Is you can make a ordinance, but can you enforce it, or will it have any effect? So maybe that's not the point. As Tom said, maybe it's a matter of principle that there is a county and a state law that both prohibit fireworks unless you have a license for it. But the counties will, if they pass this, be on record to saying this is against the ordinances in this county. So do we have further comments on this?
I don't, this is Lori.
Yes.
I understand that the NCAC is an advisory committee to the county, and I respect that. And I know that fireworks have come up at some of our public meetings, but it seems to me that when they've come up, it's been more like we're just asking for all comments. We're not asking for an evaluation or a community decision. It's been more, in my memory, it was more, we want to hear all comments. And personally, I don't think there's a unanimous consensus about what Nesquin's opinion is on this. And it seems arrogant of us to decide without community input.
But
Well,
that's gonna be
we-
Saturday. That'll be Saturday.
That'll be
That's what
Saturday.
the
We have a
meeting-
special meeting, yeah.
Special meeting on Saturday. We're just making a recommendation to the CAC for them to discuss on Saturday for the whole community.
Okay, so what would that sound like? I mean, can we make a motion?
My question is, can anybody get a license to do fireworks? I
Well,
wasn't-
there's
I wasn't-
age and there's a training you have to go through.
So your understanding reading the ordinance was that, and I
You
don't
can
have
get
that
a
in front of me.
license.
You can.
Yeah, so I could go out and get a license to do
If you
fireworks,
do the training and yeah,
but it's only people with a license.
yes.
And the county, as you understand it, the county's going to require that in order to get a license to be approved by the county, you have to be somehow certified to do fireworks or whatever.
I believe that's a state requirement that the county is in line
I
with.
wasn't clear when I read who they would issue.
Oh, froze up there.
You know,
Who would issue it? Well, we got,
Guy, you're frozen.
so I think the question is does it require both a state and a county? I would think the state
Mhm.
license oh, maybe Nancy knows. But I'm not hearing from Nancy.
Sorry, sorry, I'm back. Oh,
Okay,
God,
you
I got
know-
I got it.
everything.
Did you?
So I don't,
Okay,
I don't know. Sorry, I did look, and it looks like there is a way that you can get a permit. And I just want to clarify what's happening. We're asking you guys to weigh in if you'd like to the executive board. We're meeting on Saturday as an executive board to decide whether we want to set up a special membership meeting to discuss this and possibly make a recommendation.
oh,
Speak to the county on support or not support, or raise questions or whatever, but have some kind of an official statement to the county. So anyway,
So-
sorry about
so-
that. I'm a little harried at the moment.
yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I had my VPN on. So I missed the thing is, Nancy, did you say that it looked like I could go and apply for a permit to do fireworks, even though I don't have a particular license to do fireworks?
I don't have enough information at this point, Guy. I'm sorry. I
So-
plan to in the next week before our meeting on Saturday to get more information from the county about this.
So Guy,
Um,
I'm just AIing that and I'll have an answer here in a
Yeah.
minute.
so I've been on the fireworks crew. Matt has, a number of us have been on that in the past. And the person who got the permit had to go through a training, and the person who got that permit then did about a 4-hour training with the crew of probably 15 or 16 of us. And so it was all based on the training that they got for a state license. So I'm not sure what the county's going to require beside the state license.
Here's the quick and dirty. Citizens can obtain permits for fireworks in Oregon, but they are generally for supervised public displays, not personal use. Permits for larger displays require approval from the state fire marshal and the local fire authority. But it doesn't preclude it doesn't specify in the AI whether it's for big or small provisions or performances, whatever they're called. And then it has all the parameters of legal fireworks in Oregon. Without a special permit, it's illegal to use, possess, or sell fireworks like bottle rockets, so they specify what kind of fireworks. And there's Class B misdemeanors and non-Class B misdemeanors. It's pretty well articulated for what it allows and what it does not allow. But it's
we're asking about what the ordinance for Tillamook County is being proposed.
and here's the ordinance for Tillamook County.
Okay.
You want
And
me to put it- I can
the
put it up on
ordinance-
screen.
Burn permits. So I'm looking for the draft ordinance.
I've got it here if you want me to show
Okay.
it.
Yep.
Okay.
Tom, does it say you need a state license to get a permit?
It looks like you need a statewide license, but they've changed things here, so.
I suspect it's a state license and then you have to get the signature of the fire chief as well, because he would know the risk factors, how high a risk it would be at the specific time.
Okay, I read it a couple of days ago, and I remember that question came to me: can you get a permit from the county without a state license? That was my question.
And it appears not, looking at it. But for some
Okay,
reason,
thanks.
my capability of sharing has gone away.
That's okay. I'll trust your thing. The other thing ran in that, if in fact that's true, my guess is they cover cleanup and things like that. I mean, the responsibility for picking up things off the beach, is that right?
Well, we did, but I don't recall, I wasn't the leader of the pack. Let's see, purpose, applicability,
Make it a little
prohibition.
bit bigger. There you go.
Yeah, that's helpful. And then is it all on one page or is there more?
No, there's more.
Okay, because the cleanup is a reasonable question. Consumer
Okay.
prohibits enforcement, confiscate penalties, but doesn't seem to indicate cleanup, but that would
Yeah,
be
that's a good thing to add.
common sense thing, yeah. So maybe cleanup would be something we would share as a recommendation in the public meeting to see how people, I mean, I think that's been one of the biggest complaints. Has been mostly not of the professional one, but if all the other ones that we see that people don't clean up after themselves and then volunteers go out and do that themselves. Safety and danger explosives.
The
I
other,
think you should be explicit about it, I would think.
yeah, the
Go ahead.
other concern, we talked about this as a committee a few months ago, was, we have Eagle's Nest on Proposal Rock, other wildlife, that are in and around the beach area.
Mhm.
Clearly setting fireworks off is, I'm not a wildlife biologist, but I would guess that's not the best thing to happen for these. But someone will certainly point out, well, the eagles came back.
I
You know.
think the state law envisions that interface with Fish and Wildlife.
Mhm.
So I lifted some of R43 that we had already in the community plan and put some words around it. Do we want to look at that and see what we could add or
Sure.
subtract to that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I added this sentence at the beginning, that's obviously going to be negotiable. Fully is, maybe partially or majority, whatever it turns out to be. But through here, between many and this end bullet, that's directly lifted with minor edits from the current community plan. And that does address
Yeah, of course,
It
we say
doesn't
taking
address,
them all together.
yeah,
So one of the things that, and I'm not sure how this links up to the county's process, but so the state law is the law, and the county can pass laws that don't contradict the state law. So the part of what the NCAC will want to be attuned to is what is in state law and what opportunities does NESCO have to operate with, or the county for that matter, within the parameters of state law. And, full disclosure, I'm in favor of fireworks. I've seen them done appropriately. I've picked up the trash on the beach. I've seen what happens when they're banned. And so then there's a lot more fires on the beach in the dunes, which is every bit as big a challenge. So but that's my personal opinion. But for this piece, I don't think we can ban the use of firearms within the boundary. I don't think that complies with state law, and that's the interface the county will do. So that's the NCAC's,
yeah. Well, I
to address.
personally, I think I don't know of any, I don't know either way whether or not it contradicts it. Having the county go on record as saying that that's something that needs to be regulated, I don't think there's anything bad about that. I think there
About
is things
regulating
bad.
what?
Fireworks. You're not only talking about on the beach, on South Beach Road. We have STR people coming in and lighting off fireworks on South Beach Road.
On that
You
third
can't tell me
bullet,
that's safe. You can't tell me that that's a good thing.
Tom, is that third bullet meaning, do you mean to say fireworks instead of firearms?
Fireworks, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Actually,
that clarifies.
Actually, I think the firearms, we did talk about that, and I remember asking that we ban the use of firearms within the community boundary.
we can do that in another place, perhaps.
Yeah.
Let me jump over to that and make a note.
Because that's another summer activity that scares the hell out of me when they start target shooting down in the dunes.
Okay, so this should be fireworks, and then but we should also address firearms, you're saying.
So I think the county has a right to be more restrictive in regards to state law. They don't have to, they can't do more, but they can't allow for, 2-ton bombs to go off and the state doesn't allow it or something like that. They can't change what the licensing is for the state, but they can be more restrictive, and I think that's what they're trying to do. And uh, and I'm also one speaking that when the house above us was a rental, the renter started setting fireworks off that drifted over on top of our roof, and we had to get up on our roof. We were putting out fires on our roof from the fireworks, and that was just a little local thing between two houses. So I also think it can be a real threat. That's not just what happens on the beach, it's what happens in communities outside the beach as well.
So and to be clear, I'm not for unsafe fireworks at all. And so I just want to be clear about that. The firearms piece, I don't think
Okay.
fits in this discussion.
Yes.
It's a
No,
broader discussion, and
yeah,
it needs to be in the context of the state's rules and the counties. So,
yeah, and the
and
county
I
can be
haven't,
more restrictive, and that's fine. But Lynn, one of the things about the fireworks, the people who set them off above us thought they were using safe fireworks.
no, I don't mean that there are, quote, safe fireworks. I'm saying there's lots of things you have to do to set off fireworks safely. One is to get the right kind of fireworks. One is to follow the rules. Two is to never do it on the side of a hill by your neighbor's house. I mean, there's all kinds of,
When
and
the wind is blowing,
yeah,
some,
I mean,
yeah.
and not when I mean, I'm saying that there is the ability to do fireworks safely. Whether or not they are currently being done safely is a separate question.
Yeah.
Well, the question at hand is, do we support the county making this ordinance? That's the bottom line. And the
Exactly.
bottom line seems to be with the ordinance is it's permitted, but it must be done safely. I don't see how that's an argument with your stand.
Yeah. And with, licensing, if that's the case, you have to have a license to do fireworks. I think that,
That's
and
a
I
good
think
thing.
the enforcement thing is probably the biggest question. I agree. I have a side question about cleanup. I want to make sure that people who do get county permits to do it are in fact licensed according to the state regulations. And I don't know what to do with the small operator, the people in the neighborhood. And that's what happened to us. One house came out, they just thought they were just setting off fireworks. They didn't take into account the wind blowing, blah, blah, blah. That to me is as dangerous as setting fires than what happens on the beach. The beach is
Well,
more, having to sit
even
here listening to it and, having your dogs hide.
even on the beach, there is a somewhat of a uh, guarantee that alcohol is involved with the people who are doing it without a license and doing it from their own supply they got in Washington or Idaho or something. And we have been on actually both South Beach and the regular Nesquin Beach with 12-year-olds setting off mortars. They had no idea of the capacity of those mortars to seriously inflict huge damage on people, and their thing tipped over and it fired sideways down the beach. We just left the beach and we haven't gone back for 4th of July since. It was close to life threatening. So I don't know. It's just I think it's worthwhile. I do think that we should endorse it. I don't have much hope that it's going to change very much because it's a cultural issue in Nesquin that, as Lynn says, people have been doing it for whatever, 50 to 100 years, and they're not going to change that because there's an ordinance with no enforcement. So I think it's a
Do we,
worthwhile thing.
did the county say whether, did the county say that the state law is insufficient and therefore they're adding these additional requirements?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, I
That's
mean, one of the things they can do is that we could put up county signs and we would
Right.
wait forever for the state to put up signs.
Yeah.
And the other thing that could be possible, for instance, luckily we were able to put the fires out on our roof soon enough that our house didn't burn. But in fact, if in fact we weren't able to do that, in this case, my son-in-law wasn't here who was able to climb up on the roof and put fires out. If we weren't able to do that, those people doing it above them would be doing it against the law. I mean, that's just an added thing if we ever went after damages, saying they were
Yeah.
setting up fireworks against the law.
Yeah.
I think that, Tom, with the edits you've made, and now that we've cleared up that we're not talking about firearms, I think, the provide for safe method, comply. I don't know that we say any here comply with state law, but the certificate thing is a very serious thing to go to the fire marshal. That's there for a reason. And so I don't think it's frivolous to say comply with the state law, but leave that aside. The one of the things that I don't think we want to ban the use of fireworks within the boundary if they are approved under state law and county law. I mean,
Well,
it's a
no,
question.
I don't think we're saying that.
Okay,
no,
well, it
You are in those bullet points.
says ban the use of fireworks within the boundary.
Yeah, that was what we said in our plan. We had that as
Yeah.
a starting point. Now, what the county's coming back with, and what Sarah told us earlier, they were working on a county-wide uh, regulation or ordinance. And I remember her saying about this particular section that there was going to be something coming along from the county. So my guess is Sarah's going to say, drop our ban language and support what the county says countywide.
Tom
And
just did that.
I
It's
just would
ban
ban,
unlicensed use of fireworks within
There
the
you
boundary.
go. There you
Well, the line above it says including fireworks for banned explosives.
Yeah, okay, so we haven't really looked at the language there. Explosives, do we need this?
Yeah, and my guess is the language is non-permitted because the county is not going to do the licensing. The state would do the licensing, the county would do the permitting, but that's a language thing, but I think that's what it means. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's how I read it.
Okay, so back to the second bullet. I don't think we need this, and it might be a subject for the firearms area.
It was
Any-
a question that came up when Sarah was here. This was months ago, and I brought it up because concern about people shooting down below our house. And I asked Sarah if it was legal to do target shooting within a community boundary within residential zone. And I remember her saying it was something she needed to check on or something, but I don't think it's been resolved yet. So that's something, a Sarah question. Is there anything we can do in our community about shooting anything really, shooting a gun, firearms within the community boundary?
Okay, so the
So,
bottom line, I don't hear you arguing against deleting the second bullet.
could I just ask a question? I don't know if this would be included, but I know in some areas of the area I live in, M80s are sometimes fired as 4th of July kinds of fun. So that would kind of be under explosives that aren't typically fireworks, but I don't know if that would be considered part of their ordinance, but maybe Nescoin doesn't have that issue.
Yeah, I don't know what the definition
I-
between explosives and fireworks.
Do we know
I don't know.
exactly what the Tillamook ordinance is asking for that's different than the state ordinance?
Yeah,
Yes.
has the county provided that, what the value added is to what they're doing?
No, that's a question I actually have for Sarah. I'm going to try to talk
Yeah,
with her
thank
between
you.
now and our meeting on Saturday. That and enforcement. And another question that's come up is, the beach is state park. So
Yep.
what could we do there? But at the very least, it seems like Tom said, having signage up could be a possible deterrent. At least there'd be something established.
And also the point that I make which is now the second last paragraph, is making sure that the people who rent the STRs are at least aware that there is a law, at least can be aware that there is a law.
Yeah.
Not that they'll read their packet, but that to me is a bigger thing than anything else. We could at least direct people that, yeah, you're not supposed to do that. They may do it anyway, but at least they
Exactly.
they may be more careful about it.
And,
Is
and
it-
I don't think it hurts anything.
Is it possible to say that I'm not as conversant with this short-term rental statute? I can get it up here, but isn't anything goes wrong in a rental and the property owner's liable?
I don't know.
I mean, not slipping
know.
and falling down the stairs, although that's, I'm sure, fodder for a lawsuit too. But I mean, if a renter in a home burns up a sand dune or burns up the house or whatever, burns up the neighbor's house, under the STR, does the property owner held accountable?
I doubt it.
yeah, who knows?
I doubt it.
You're right, Lynn. It's probably something they would argue for 10 years in a courtroom somewhere.
Because when you sign up for your home insurance, it asks you, and if you're Vacasa, you carry liability insurance for these things. But if you sign up in your home insurance, at least at the beach, and you're going to rent it, that has to be stated in your insurance policy because it affects your liability, and we've exhausted my knowledge on that. But I do think, not that I mean, we don't want to burn anyone's house down, but I do think that the STR people not just put it in their packet of information for renters, but maybe the strongest deterrent is I don't know how they escape liability.
I would really, really question that. I think that in the policies has a lot about how the guests are responsible for damage to the property and
Yeah,
liability for things on the property. But I
but
would
not for
stop if
damage next
they
door.
walk down to the beach and set the dunes on fire.
Oh,
and
yeah.
get
No,
hold them
I think that,
responsible.
and we don't need to worry about it because the county's going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
They're the ones who, their policy will be governing for renters and people concerned with doing that. So it's not, if we don't have someone who's knowledgeable about it, the county obviously is going to pay attention to it.
I also question if this, I mean, I can understand the STR people being an issue just because they're unfamiliar with the community and they're might be coming to Nesplin because woohoo, we can do what fireworks there. We've heard that we can do them or whatever. But the reality is that there's this very strong fireworks tradition in many families in Nesquin who are here every year. And it's not just the STR community that you're talking to. The
Sure.
STR community might need more education just because they're unfamiliar. But
But the people who are here are actual residences, they're going to know about it because we're going to tell them.
yeah,
And so is the NCA. The people who don't, aren't here, but for the first time, maybe, they're the ones that are not going to get to know this any other way.
yeah. Well, I agree with
Well, the community addressed this once and it resulted in a nonprofit being formed to do fireworks. And I don't know if that's still in effect or still working. That
Yeah.
was, yeah. So that was
Well-
the first solution to this problem.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't particularly like fireworks. I think they're bad. But if it's licensed, permitted, and regulated,
Yeah.
then that's good. That's what it is. But
Yep.
unlicensed people, shooting off fireworks in my front yard, I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it.
I think there's more danger in the neighborhood fireworks than there is the beach fireworks.
I
Beach
agree.
fireworks are offensive and I think they're bad for the environment. I think they're dangerous. If you're on the beach like Rand and Laney were, you're going to stay off the beach once you've learned your lesson. And so you have control over that. People who live in their houses don't have control because if their next door neighbor starts setting off fireworks. It's not like you can, well, I think I'll leave my house. There's fireworks going off.
Yeah.
So that's to me the dangerous piece. And again, I'm speaking from because we went through it. And by the way, those people were also drunk. I don't get drunk just on the beach. But and
Maybe
and
we should
you
be
know,
more
Lynn, you bring
specific.
up the STRs, and my first brain went, thought went to, you could put something in the STR ordinance banning the use of fireworks in every short term. I mean, you could start with that.
Yeah,
Anyways, that's just a thought.
I wouldn't object to that.
So
Um,
on these bullet points, maybe we need to say something about particular dangers of use of fireworks within the neighborhoods. The neighborhood residential areas are particularly, I don't know, dangerous or something.
Vulnerable.
Just vulnerable, yeah. I mean, if we're really more concerned about what's happening on the neighborhood streets and not and kind of, I don't know, give in about the beach, because I don't think you're going to win about the beach no matter what you put in here. Personally, people are going to do what they want to do on the beach.
Yep.
Now, people are quite
But-
free to break the law. That's fine.
But
I
if
think
we-
calling out the neighborhoods is probably not functional.
You don't think it's functional to call out the neighborhood?
No, because then it focuses on that rather than the general case of
Mm.
people who don't know what they're doing fireworks anywhere is a bad thing. And the neighborhoods are an example, the beach is an example. I don't know that it really requires calling it out separately. Although personally, I'm quite concerned about it, that in neighborhoods, but I think in general, I don't think it has to be called.
So
I think-
one of the questions is, has the county, so the county is adopting this. Someone initiated it. Guy, is it one of the commissioners who initiated? I mean, have they already done their work with the community, or is this the beginning of that process?
I have no idea how it got initiated. All I know is Sarah told us it was coming like 6 months ago.
Because Lori's right. It is a big issue in the community, and people feel very strongly about it. And to me, it's like there's a state law, the county's going to improve their law. There isn't, to Robin's point, there isn't on-site enforcement. And so maybe, one answer would be the community would say, okay, but if you're going to have the time to do this work, Tillamook County, are you going to give us a sheriff for someone who will cruise the street at fireworks time, which is usually like 10 o'clock at night, or cruise the beach? I mean, that's an important question, because if this is another process and law and there's no enforcement and there is no way to regulate it, it begs the question, because it's contrary to what Tillamook County has been telling us, that they have no resources to do anything additional.
Lori,
So I don't know. I just didn't know where we were in that process.
well, no
I
one
have a
does.
question why
Well,
it's an emergency and we have to make an opinion about it without going through our community process.
Well, we
We're- we
will
are the
still go
community
through the
process.
process this summer, and this will be part of the plan, whatever it settles down to be. So we will get testimony later. Holding a public meeting now probably will draw people to it because people are pretty opinionated. So that would be an NCAC meeting that that Nancy's going to be calling. And I think what we're offering here are the questions that we feel are relevant that need to be addressed before people can understand what it is. Go ahead, Tom, sorry.
But, just my opinion about an enforceable law versus, in general, I think unenforceable laws are bad. However, this does have the advantage of being able to cite chapter and verse in publications and signs and
Yeah.
in STR packets. So I think that outweighs the fact that we don't really know how we would possibly get this enforced.
Yeah. And that,
Lots of things we don't do now that used to be okay. And fireworks to me is one of them.
uh-huh. And there may be options in the future when the digital ways maybe come down to a manageable budget, but they don't
Yeah,
have
it
the
was,
same effect with no boom, no titanium boom with the
Yeah.
visual display of the
I had a conversation earlier that where I noted that the fact that the military is now using drones means the price of those drones is going to drop. So it actually may become feasible.
right. Yeah, and China did it and Japan have both done absolutely insane, beautiful displays, but that was with a big budget.
A big
But you're
budget,
right,
but
it could come down.
it's reusable.
Oh
You
yeah,
see, once
yeah,
you do fireworks, it's gone. But
yeah,
if you do a drone thing, you can do it again, change the choreograph.
yeah.
So
Okay.
my take on this, do you want to vote, Ran, or what does the NCAC want from us? An endorsement of this?
Talk to me, Nancy.
I think it could be formal or informal. If Rand just wants to report at the executive board meeting that you guys had a conversation and you supporting the NCAC, supporting the ordinance or supporting bringing it to the membership, that's fine. If you want to have something more formal, like Tom's draft here presented to the board, I think that's fine too. So we just appreciate your taking the time to discuss this. It's really helping me to hear it and
Yeah.
focus as we talk, because really we're following our process of providing input to the county and by discussing it with the executive board first and then taking it to the membership. So the membership will have a chance to talk about it should we hold a meeting, which I think we will, 2 weeks from Saturday. They'll have a chance to weigh in on it too. We also have a process through the bylaws and the PPNR to have minority reports. So if it turns out that we have a vote to support this and it's passes 60 to 40%, we have a process for making sure that that 40% gets heard as well.
Actually, it doesn't need to be 40%. One person can submit.
Right. Right.
So
I was
anybody
yeah,
who
absolutely.
disagrees
Right.
has their voice being able to be heard.
Right. And county commissioners have actually told us that they really look at that minority report and they want to know the votes, how strong is the feeling. So I think, one question is, do we just have a simple statement that we support the ordinance being passed, or do we have something where we raise some of these issues like enforcement and, some of the other things we've talked about today, and that I'm also getting input already from different members to
Okay.
talk about.
Well,
So
why don't-
I just appreciate you talking about it, and whatever you guys want to do is fine.
So I would say that we have Tom's statement. I think when my dependence on AI isn't complete yet, but we will have a summary from that, from all the things that we just said over the last 20 minutes or 40 minutes. And that we won't have time to revisit that except for by email between now and Saturday. But I would say with Tom's statement that we tweaked, and from what I gained from the summary, I will try to make that into questions or some things and share it with you all, because that's the way the summaries go back to you and you look at them and can correct them. I think between those two, we could make something reasonably clear that we support the actions of the county, but we also have a number of questions which are both actions and questions about the feasibility of actually and how functional this will be, just to have them understand our considerations of how feasible this is. So not sure. I guess we could vote on the statement that is in front. Go ahead, Lori.
If we're gonna vote on this, I would like to tweak one sentence. And that's where it says this last point may be the key to preventing licensed fireworks. And that's in relation to the education of the STR community.
Well,
I think
that should be an
I
sorry.
think
Good.
I would say something like this, that my brain's not working to refine this on the fly, but I think that the STR community will react negatively to having their finger pointed that they're the key to preventing this problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I think that the education is important, but they're just one part of the problem. There, like I said before, there's a lot of people that are part of longstanding residents, owners, visitors that are not STR community that are part of the avid fireworks community. And we can't blame it on the STRs, though I totally get the point that educating them is really important.
And
I suggest actually taking off both of those two sentences and just say, maybe under that last bullet, expand it to say STR managers should be required to include both the practical restrictions and the text of the new ordinance in the renter's information packet. Take out both of the sentences above. Just a suggestion. Because I don't think it's just people who don't live in Nesquin.
Any objections to that?
I have no objection to that. I'm going to vote. I don't think the county has done its work, and so I don't support adopting this and taking it forward to the county council. I think there is, I
We're
think,
not that far yet.
okay,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is the first step to give it to the executive board, who's then
Right.
going to give it to the community. This is
Right.
meant to be a starting point.
right.
If you don't
Yeah.
have a starting point, well, that's fine too. But this is only meant to be a starting point. It's not meant to be the final word.
So given that, Tom, and thank you, that's helpful. What I would support is the executive committee doing more work to identify what the county is doing and what they think they're doing. I mean, I am dumbfounded, dumbfounded at the amount of process work that goes on at the county level when they have no resources.
I
I
mean,
just
they take on stuff that,
we're doing this. And, if we didn't have Tom and the rest of you, I don't know what we'd be doing. I mean, this is an incredible amount of work. So I also believe in that's why I asked if someone had sponsored this. I really believe in voting. And so, kind of all this stuff that is, they don't have any way to enforce it, but they're passing it, but it's not voted on unless you have the ability to, you can submit a letter. It's always possible to submit a letter. I understand that. So, to me, on this particular issue, given how the community feels about it, I think there's more work to be done. And if I were the NCAC, I would ask the county to do some more work. um, and um, and be clear about what they're bringing to the table here.
So
Okay.
am I hearing a motion, Lynn, that you would
Yeah.
recommend that
I
your
don't want to go to a
subcommittee?
motion yet, please. We're still discussing. I don't want a
Okay.
motion.
All right.
I would like to capture people's opinions on it. And if we're going to send this to the executive board, I think a statement like what was just made needs to be included and identified so that
Right.
everybody has their say and so it can be identified. Because we have divergent opinions and we should reflect that in we're not just an up and down there, but this is what was proposed and this is what
our
your
response.
stance on it. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think as far as process is concerned, I guess I'd repeat that I will probably look at the summary and the points that are raised in it, figure out how to include those in addition to what you've written here, but I wouldn't do that without sending it to you all. So there's there's
Okay,
some
then we
massaging
start
left. There's some massaging left to do, even with the statement that you've provided, to clarify to the NCAC that there are numerous questions that remain unanswered that require clarification before anybody can make a decision about this. So it's a little bit challenging of a situation in a kind of a crush of time to be very eloquent about. It's more like, well, we have some ideas about how it's functional, but we have a lot of other ideas that indicate how dysfunctional it might be, and we're concerned about that. So,
Yeah. And I want to apologize again. This came to us Friday night.
yeah,
So
right.
we're kind of
Understood.
scrambling here, but I'm getting the gist of it. And it's kind of sounding like I don't want to take too much of your time away from your other work. So it's kind of sounding like we have the information that Tom has above, but that there are a number of questions that need to be answered. And I hope to have them answered before Saturday at the executive board meeting so
Yeah.
that we can make an informed decision in the executive board about whether to take it to the membership. So that's very helpful. And I think you can just do something informal like that, Rand, unless the committee wants to have something more formal.
Don't we generally agree as a committee that there should be some regulation of fireworks to protect people, property, and the environment? and that we support any effort to do that. I mean, we don't want to get into the particulars of how the county is going to do X or Y. I mean, my guess is I mean, we have questions about I think the relationship with state parks, and the state parks have to get involved in any particular thing, or we may have uh, questions about enforcement. But do we support the regulation of the use of fireworks to protect people, property, and the environment? I think
But
we do.
Guy, we support him and we passed a state law doing exactly that. And then the community adopted its own solution within that framework. Even if the county just sent us a one page, this is what we're going to do that goes beyond state law or is different than state law or fills in a gap of
Mhm.
state law. That's 30 minutes of work for someone, right? So
Okay,
they've taken more than 30 minutes of our time. That would be the minimum I would ask them to provide.
sure.
So if you want to add my sentence to that reaction to the above, I don't actually understand what we're asking to approve because I don't understand. It hasn't been explained to me in a way that I understand what they've proposed that's different than what's already in the Oregon state law.
Yep.
And also, I don't understand why it's an emergency.
I think what
I have an opinion.
the difference to me reading the thing is the state law, as Lynn went through and gave us, talks about these public
Displays.
displays where you have to be licensed. What the county is saying is, as we all know, the 50 different individual uses of fireworks on the beach and in the community in Nescoin are allowed under the state law, but the county is trying to, this is how I understand it, the county is trying to say that's not allowed unless you have a permit. So the people who do their own shows without being licensed are now going to come under, they could claim under state law, well, anybody has a right to set off a firework. And that's what they're just
No,
doing.
that's not accurate because I think state law is like anything that burns is not legal anymore. Even sparklers, I think, got really, you had to go somewhere to get
Really?
them because it's a burning material that is potentially airborne, which is a fire hazard. So
Lynn, did
I
you,
don't think you get to do mortars on your own just because you went and bought them. There
So,
is a
Lynn,
law prohibiting that
so
already.
Guy, the
yeah, Lynn, go ahead.
the thing I was reading from again is AI, and
Yeah.
I'm an early adopter, but also very suspicious because of working with state laws for years. And so
Yeah.
it's a question they can answer. They have a full-time lawyer who
Right.
can say, our law is missing this ability under state law to do these things, and this is why we want you to do them. And part of what I think is just the educational part of this is the Tillamook County is without resources. At the same time, we cannot make good decisions if they're not doing their job completely. And so, at a minimum, when there's already a state law, I bet there are states with no fireworks laws. We have one. And it was adopted with full understanding that a whole bunch of fireworks happen on the coast. So at a minimum, Tillamook County, tell us what you're doing here that we can't already do, and we will talk to our people about how they feel about that. But and I don't understand that it's an emergency either. But again, I'm happy to be a minority of one. I have no qualms about that at all. But I just think this reminds me of the kind of emergency to pass the governor's housing policy, which we did a whiz bang wonderful job up, dropped everything, did everything the county needed us to do. But on this one, I just think it's like, okay, what Sarah couldn't be here, I get that, but what is it you need that you don't have in state law? And who's supporting this? Who initiated this? Clearly, they think there's a problem. Tell us the problem. Tell us who you are. Tell us what we need to do. But I just think it's important to take a well-informed stance, and I don't feel well-informed at this point. And I know many people will feel this is a big issue in Nescoin. I mean, this is people who've been there for 60 years. They're going to care a lot about it. We found that out when they went through the process to get the permit and created a nonprofit, which is no easy thing to do to get fireworks. So I
let me
think
just,
we need to move on, and I'm
Yeah.
happy being a minority of one, however you want to proceed, just to kind of keep us
So-
rolling.
Yeah.
Does what I wrote here reflect your opinion?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Laurie, is there anything you'd like to add to the statement I attributed to you?
The first part, what is different than state laws? That's my biggest question. And I guess my next one is I don't have enough information to feel like I can give an informed opinion about this. And also, I think it needs community input in that. I thought that was going to happen within these meetings that we were having this summer with the community.
yeah.
And if this is an emergency, they're probably going to pass something before we ever get to have discussions with the community. Which
No,
wasn't the process.
The plan is to have discussions in the community, otherwise we can't say anything. I mean, that's why they're having an emergency meeting of the as executive
Right, but-
board, and assuming they'll also follow through with the emergency meeting of the NCAC. So that community process is gonna happen.
It is, but it's in a context, it's a bit hurried and may not really
Yeah.
get the exposure to get people together. And also the meetings this summer that we hope to have will be live in the room with people, which also is a different effect than having a big Zoom meeting. Although we've had huge attendance at some of the, and this might be one that we get big attendance on because it's a controversial issue. So it may work, but it certainly wasn't the way we planned on making decisions or getting our input. I'll just hold off on mine until I agree with everything that people have said. I'm not sure I have anything separate from that besides all these questions I've written down that are on my piece of paper. So I will definitely have an idea and a response, but I want to get the AI back and look at everything and just make sure we include all the questions.
Yeah, thank you. As I'm hearing everything, it's not really fair that we've even asked. The reason I asked is that I knew that you had some information already in your plan, in the draft of the plan, and but all of these points are really good and actually things that I was planning on following up, as I mentioned at the beginning, before our meeting with the executive board on Saturday, because they're all excellent questions, and I don't think enforcement is in there anywhere either. I think that's another question. And the beach versus. So anyway, this is very helpful to me. I'm sorry for taking so much of your time. And I think we've got enough for the executive board as it is. So thank you.
And Nancy, the big thing, of course, is if Lynn's question, what's the difference between what the county wants to do and what the state already has done?
Right. Absolutely. I completely agree. So thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I wrote it, enforcement is an issue on mine. Do people want me to add it to everybody else, or can we just leave it at that?
Okay. And Tom, could you send me the statements so that when I review the AI stuff, I know what we've already said, and then I can include other things to add
Yeah.
to it. So when we
Yeah.
don't have to review two documents, we can do one with some kind of added appendix from what I get out of the AI notes.
Yeah, this damnable,
Well, on your own time,
meeting, well, that's not the problem. The problem is the open meetings law.
Right.
It's gonna be tough to integrate that legally, which is really an anathema to what the processes are gonna be.
That's why I'm
Right.
thinking it'd be better to just keep it informal. Have Ron just, and just presenting something informal, because at this point, there's not enough information for you guys to do, it's sounding like to do,
Yeah.
make a vote
Anything
or
definitive,
do
yeah.
anything definitive. We need to get more information between now and Saturday, and I think Rand can just present the discussion when we meet on Saturday. If that sounds okay to you guys.
Yeah.
Because a
Okay.
formal statement, there's just not enough time for that.
Yeah.
And Nancy, if you talk to Sarah before Saturday,
I'm sure going to try.
well, I think
I have a whole bunch.
it's appropriate for you just to send us a summary of what
Sure.
responses Sarah gave you. We don't have to discuss them or anything. It's just information. Here's what I
Yeah,
thought.
no, I'm
Sarah.
happy to do that. Sure. I'll send them to Ran and he can send it out. Absolutely.
Sure.
And of course, all of you are welcome to attend. If we do a membership meeting, you're members and you're welcome to weigh in there too. And our executive board meeting is also open for public comment.
Okay, so I'm gonna send this to everybody in Word format.
Okay.
We need to be careful not to iterate on this amongst ourselves.
Right. Yeah. And then if I come up with anything and add it, I would send it back to everyone, and then that'll be, if somebody has, oh, we can't do that either.
No.
No, we can't really, no.
Okay. All
But
right.
if you present something at the
Yeah, I
the
will.
board, executive board, that certainly would be
Right. It
reasonable
could
to
be
do.
include this in additional statements. Okay,
Yeah.
that I make. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. That was the first
Okay.
hour.
Thank you,
All right.
Nancy.
Thank you,
Thank
Nancy.
you all. Thank you. Sorry for, I thought it would
That's
be a
okay.
simple quickie, but you guys brought in great stuff. So thank you.
Right.
I've
It's
got a
not on
copy
you.
as
It's
well, Nancy.
yeah. Okay. So it was indicated that Sarah couldn't be here today. And we've been kind of waiting to talk to her after her discussions with Chris Lady that we assume have maybe happened, and to deal with the transportation issues. So are there things, Tom, that we can do besides those sections?
Yes, I have
Okay,
inputs
good.
from Guy. I have
Right.
inputs from Guy, so,
Of course.
okay.
So in general, because Tom's pulling this up, I thought of the two sections that I should have thought of this way earlier: safety and resilience. Um, in terms of Tom's got resilience up there. Whoops.
Let me put I think safety is first,
Yeah.
it's on 23.
Oh, I thought safety just went by.
Yeah,
There you go.
okay, there it is.
But in terms of safety, when in 2009, when a committee was formed, chaired by the county commissioner, consisting of a number of people, both local and state and federal. We spent a couple of years to come up with a plan. I guess maybe I've got to back, well, because this is what came first. So the plan was the Nescoin adaptation, coastal hazard adaptation plan. And that was designed, so this is going to come backward, Tom, because in the sense this
Oh, do you want the other one first? I can do it the other way around.
yeah, this is the resilience part. So there's a
No,
huge,
I backed it up.
yeah, but I'm
To
just saying
safety.
that the huge issue discussed in the committee was what is resilience, and how do we become resilient to the threats that we face as a coastal community? And the state DLCD came up with being climate ready. Are you a
Okay.
climate ready community? And they had a whole series of things, and they offered communities help if you wanted to go through the process. We applied, went through the process for a couple of years, and wrote the adaptation plan. And one of the things that came out of that is that in terms of, we're not going to build a seawall 10 feet high or 20 feet high to protect Nescoin. We're going to adapt to the changes in Nescoin. So that was in terms of resilience. And so I wrote a quick thing because that was an important couple of years and voted on by the CAC to approve that plan. And so I did a paragraph, I think, on that I sent to Tom. And then the other, in terms of the safety, out of that plan, we came up with the Nescoin Coastal Hazard Overlay Zone, which was designed to protect people and property. So it's a safety thing, to protect people and property within a zone as defined by Dogami as the coastal hazards highest threat zone. So we were the first community, certainly in Oregon, and I think Mark Labhart told me in the West Coast that actually did this, had an ordinance, and I made reference to it in what I sent Tom, where you can find that ordinance that governs what people can build and where they can build, how they can build, if they're in that zone. So those are the two things I sent Tom to add. I mean, they're just brief paragraphs. I sent it to Sarah as well because I just wanted to make sure I got the language right in terms of ordinance language, but I'm pretty sure I did, but she didn't respond.
Okay, so I have added them as comments to R43, making R44. Do people want, I assume people want to look at this and consider it before we review it or consider it, but
Yeah, can you pull it up, just what I sent you then? I can't,
yes, I did. It's on the screen.
I
Should
don't,
be.
I don't see it.
Can anybody else see it?
Yeah, it's in a box on the right side
I'm sorry. I didn't
from
slide
Guy.
over. Right.
The ocean also poses risk due to ongoing climate change. Pacific Northwest has seen rising sea levels, increasing wave heights, and storms. 2014, the Nesco Citizen Advisory Committee proposed and the county approved the Nesco Coastal Hazard Overlay Zone designed to protect people and property from these threats.
And then
That
there's the, and
cites
that's
the
the,
law,
now,
cites the ordinance.
so what I did, because I knew Tom would ask right away, so what proof do you have of that
Uh-huh.
first sentence? So I, we had things in the appendix because we had a number of scientists come in and talk to our committee, but that was again between 2009 and 2011. So I wrote two people, scientists who were on our committee, Peter Ruggiero and Jonathan Allen, and asked them to send me more current assessments of the risks we face. I remember the risk was there's been a 50% increase in wave heights over the last 20 years, the increase in the wave energy, all kinds of things that we got that are in that document. But I asked for an update so we'd have current. I did get an email back from one of the scientists, Peter, who said that he was currently in Ecuador, but as soon as he got back, he was going to send me some updated references that we could include in our plan to kind of back up there is a risk and an
Right.
increasing risk.
So should I add a section in the references and just as a placeholder for the coastal hazard zone?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and then do you happen to have a copy of the current one?
I think I sent you the final draft. The county has the final copy. I thought I sent you
Okay,
to the final draft. Yeah. And it's all the
yeah,
appendix stuff that's in that one would include some of this stuff. But as I said, I wanted to get something more updated than something that was done 15 years ago.
Good work to remember that and get that included.
So I'll check the county, because I'd have to go with what's officially that, rather than a draft.
And there
But
were,
I'll do that,
and this was I mean, it sounds like now, oh yeah, sure, but it was at the time, there were people on our committee, there was a proposal, I won't say who, but let's just say somebody was
Very old now.
very old and very knowledgeable, who pushed to have barges that were not being used in the Bay Area to be brought up to Neskowin and sunk in front of Neskowin to provide barriers for the waves, increasing wave heights.
I thought it was also an aircraft carrier or something.
Yeah, some ships, I mean, yeah, there were ships too.
that sounds a little different.
Yeah.
Well, that could actually help fishing, I suppose.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it could create a lot of the feeding areas for
Reefs. It's a false reef, is what it
all
is.
three. Yeah.
Well, it is a reef. It's just made of artificial, not natural materials.
Anyways, so
Okay.
good stuff was done.
Yeah. Well, it became a template for others, right? And have other things
Oh, in
evolved,
fact,
or does it remain the only one?
and I think it's the only one. I talked to I think the Saget. How do you say that? Up in
Sag Harbor. Sag Harbor?
Sagit, Saget
Oh,
in Washington. They did something similar years later. In fact, just a few years ago, they finished up some of their. The interesting thing on this was we originally wrote this for the county, for all the coastal communities in the county. And the county commissioners, two of the three commissioners wouldn't approve it for the county. Because the original thing was not Neskowin coastal hazard, but the Tillamook County coastal hazard adaptation plan. So we regrouped and submitted it just for Neskowin.
huh.
I wonder if it would have the same fate now that it did then.
A lot of what's in there has eventually been adopted by the county, though, including in the overlays, some pieces of the overlay, but we still have the only overlay zone.
Hmm.
Yeah, they have the overlay zone in the county map now,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'll also make reference to that in the reference.
Okay. So is that it for the two sections? That's
You know, one of the recommendations may be, and just earmark this or whatever, Tom, that we update the map, the overlay zone map, based on the most recent Dogami maps. That it'd be regularly updated. I don't know. I'm sure Sarah would not agree to that because she would say we were able to do all this not to get away from the takings because it's had to deal with people and property safety. I think we still can do it, but I would love to have some regular update of the coastal hazard overlay zone.
Well, problem problem with that is this is not a regularly updated document.
Oh, but this document is, but I'm just saying in terms of the
overlay zone
I see.
itself.
the overlay
The
zone itself.
overlay zone itself.
Yes,
Yeah. So that the map would be updated.
yes. And I know that the map is required to be updated for like velocity zones and all that based on wherever Dogami, whenever it gets to updating those things. But we want to make sure that our overlay zone is updated at the same time.
Okay.
Whenever that happens, we can ask Sarah.
That sounds like something we should really add to this section
Yeah.
rather than stuffing it back. I'll add some text to that and see if that works for people.
Okay.
So
Okay.
do people want me to incorporate the verbiage or leave it off as a comment. Problem with the comments is it makes for squirrely printing. I would rather incorporate it into it and maybe highlight it or something to be reviewed.
I
Anybody object to that?
No, Guy, quick question is some of these issues are coastal issues. Do the counties on the coast align in any way to interact with the state for greater effectiveness on these issues?
Well, the state of Oregon, as you know, through their coastal management program, DLCD's coastal management program, has tried to get some uniformity with ordinances up and down the coast.
Yeah.
And I think that we're still the only one that I understand we're the only one still with an overlay zone. I think there's been other pieces put in different counties. I think Lincoln County has done some things. Actually, Lincoln City was approached for this process before we were, and they started it and didn't complete it. But yeah, it's DLCD's effort through their coastal management program uh, to to try to get some uniformity up and down the coast on this.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so Tom, do you have enough information about this
I have enough information to propose some text.
to?
And that's what I'll do. I also have enough, some things to change in our fireworks section based on our discussions today.
Right,
And I'll make the corresponding changes to the body, the part that I extracted, such as not mentioning firearms. Uh, We have
I think
have a
I
note.
remembered why the firearms related to the fireworks, because I think I thought about the use of firearms as a lot of you were responding to a neighbor who's setting fireworks off at your house.
So so you were trying to prevent people from shooting each other. Okay, fair enough. It sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
I've got a rifle, I've got a mortar.
Golly, okay. Past that, I don't know that there's anything we can do. I looked through the document and we're hanging fire on a lot of stuff from Sarah.
Yeah,
I had another one.
You did? Did you tell
I
me
had
about
two I
it?
sent you.
the resilience or the
Safety. No,
safety.
yeah, safety. And that was the ha hazard overlay zone.
Yeah, that's what we got here.
Let's see, I
That's in the
sent you
safety.
two.
Yeah. Oh, I love a word. Okay, there we go. See, this is added to the safety.
Right, so then there should be another thing under, right, resilience.
Oops, next comment. And that one, and that one. Okay, so that is replacement of this paragraph with this paragraph.
So the hazard overlay zone should stay with safety. This
Yeah, that's
is the
where it is.
resilience thing I wrote up.
Yes.
The more,
That's where it is.
yeah,
And it's replacing the first paragraph, right?
yeah. Or not replacing, just inserting.
You want it inserted rather than replaced?
I think that's how I proposed it, but and I can't remember what I wrote, Joe. I have to go back and look.
I can tell you. Oops, wrong. Version updates. Okay. Yes, you said lines 4 through 6 should read. So I took that as being a replacement.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So Lynn, this kind of gets into what I just talked about regarding the other one, because the hazard overlay zone came out as a result of this report that we did and submitted in 2011. And then in 2014, the hazard overlay zone was eventually approved.
I see.
So it lays out how we got there.
Yep. Okay.
So I thought too, it's important just to document how we got there. I mean, so I try to do it as succinctly as possible without getting into several years of notes on this thing.
Right. I think
Well,
that's good. Again, I think we have to remember that a lot of people, if we want people to use the document, they've got to understand what all these things are, and it's very hard to keep track of all this stuff. So I think that's helpful to say how it got there.
And then the final thing that sentence, as a result of this, we got the work that was approved in 2011. We got the hazard overlay zone in 2014, the emergency egress road, which all of our surveys was the number, either number one or number two thing that people were concerned about. And of course, the timing, if you all remember, is when that huge root wad gets smashed up against the Salem Street Bridge, and the county had to come in with equipment to try to remove it. And everybody was like, "What happens if we lose that bridge?" So that was the people all responded. And again, and as I keep harping on, it's not a tsunami escape route bridge. It's if we lose the Salem Street Bridge in a storm event, that we have an emergency egress road. That was the recommendation coming out of that committee. And then, of course, the recommendations for the riprap, which Sarah didn't know, which was interesting. We worked with state parks to do an assessment of the 91 properties. I think there was 91, 90, can't remember, around there, that had riprap in Nescoin. And we did an assessment of each property in terms of the how the riprap was built and the feasibility of it and all, and then sent every property owner a letter, and we graded them. I think it was like 1 to 4 or something like that. And there were several that were asked to have to improve the riprap. And one of the questions, not for us to answer here, but what happens if somebody refuses to redo their riprap? Or they got an empty lot, like, the one there on Hillsborough and Corvallis, there's a big empty lot. What if they decided not to riprap that empty lot on the beach? Um, whose responsibility is? And there was a lot of talk about riprap should be a community supported project, not individual property owners. That was one of the big discussions, because riprap protects the village and South Beach. Um, and so it should be a community responsibility, not just the property owner on the beach. But that didn't fly. Unless the community plan wants to make a recommendation.
I think it would require an environmental impact statement, among other things. I mean, Guy, you may have uh, been there when I was there, but there are a lot of people who think riprap what is inappropriately used and causes more problems than it solves.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that if the environment and some of them are very strong environmentalists, but to me, the community doesn't have the resources to do riprap. And would be one issue. The other would be just the legality of it and the environmental impact of it.
The biggest meeting we had in the CAC prior to Zoom was when the county came to us after the 2008 storm, and there was a lot of riprap that was destroyed on the beach. And the county at that time, both state parks and the county had to co-permit the replacement. And the county came to the CAC to ask, was the community going to support the issuing permits to replace riprap? We had over 100 people in the fire hall, in the conference room in the fire hall.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's a really interesting question. And I remember when John Kitzhaber had to rip wrap his house in Nesco Inn. And I remember when Mark Hatfield had to rip wrap his condominium, which I can't remember where it was.
The Capes at Oceanside.
In the
Yeah.
Cape.
So It's a,
It fell into the into the dune there.
it's a hotbed of political discussion for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. But that's so I put some, it's a little bit of a history. It's succinct. It doesn't get into all the issues. But yeah.
Okay, well, we can, after people get to study it and think on it, and they become some alternatives, we'll discuss it again. People can send me submissions like Guy did, and I will, Sarah recommended that I not do my previous
Methodology.
methodology because it was too easy to run across the open meeting law. So
Ah.
I'm having to, it's going to slow things a little bit, but it's what we got to do.
Yeah.
We
And
heard rumors that it was going to be loosened a little bit. Haven't heard anything more than rumors.
right, well, I think the governor said she thought it loosened it too much, so she wouldn't sign it.
No,
Yeah. Okay, but I hadn't heard that. So.
the unions got to her.
Push back.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if anyone would happen to read the coastal erosion and adaptation plan, if that's was a one-time part of the title. Anyway, it is an amazing document that informs you a lot about this area that otherwise you wouldn't know. And there was a lot of research that went into it that is quite illuminating. I'm not sure the wave report came true over the next 10 to 15 years since we have a lot of sand back, but there was a lot of science done and it is included and it's an amazing document that I have read most of, not all of.
Wow.
Well,
I think
So,
one of the things that negated some of the results of the sea rise and ocean and wave height is that we are rising.
Right. The continent is rising.
Well,
with
this part of the Northwest
yeah.
rising, and part of Oregon is rising, which of course
it's not a good thing.
good. Well, it's good for us as we are living
Until
today.
it isn't. It's
Until it
good for
isn't.
us until it is not good for us. And that's the big drop.
The higher you climb, the further down you fall.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
find it- Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
was there any other, besides Guy's submission, were there any other things we needed to go back and review that aren't involving Sarah and Chris?
I think I think I apologize if I didn't write you all. And Rand, you know more about this than I do. The comment by our transportation representative for the CAC that indicated that Hawk Street or Avenue, I don't never know which one is street or avenue. It goes from Corvallis north to North Nescoin is a private road. And when I saw that comment, as Jeff Walton made to somebody in our community, it raised a lot of concerns because I wrote to Sarah and Chris Lady saying, we just did our community plan. We were talking about beach access points, and we all kind of, first fire hydrant, second fire hydrant. That's how I refer to them. No, we got, county roads there, their beach access points. We talked about the signs there. And I says, well, how do we can't access those county roads, beach access points, if it involves going over a private road. Now, Lynn, this is separate. I know North Nescoin's got its own issues here. But the response I got back from Chris was, well, you can access those county roads by the beach.
I mean, yeah, There is, I think, ongoing mediation going on with the road that goes from the golf course to Nesco in North, right?
I
That's
think it's
that,
Corvallis. It's really Corvallis to Nesco and North. Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay,
whatever that road, I'm trying to, but that's a process underway independent of, it's between the county and the property owners.
yeah, I don't have the village memorized, so,
It's right near the top there where the lots get bigger.
yeah, okay.
And I was just emailed today a new county ordinance that we had not been informed about to remove apparently part of that. That road was county and parts of it were not. And they just apparently there'd been an ordinance way back in the 80s that it was supposed to become county, and
Right.
they did not. They just signed a new ordinance saying no, they're going to
Oh,
undo that. I'll send that to you. I just got it right before the meeting from Jeff. I assume he got it from Chris, but it was news to any of us. We had not been informed or
I think it
offered
was
a chance to provide input. So,
exactly 88 or 89, I think, from my
yeah,
memory, when that ordinance was passed, because there was an issue of who was going to maintain that road,
right.
and the county adopted that road.
Yes.
And
So
they put some blacktop down up there. They put a
Well, they
significant,
rebuilt it. They
yeah,
rebuilt the whole section from the S curves north to the to Tsunami Trail. They tore it up and rebuilt the road.
yeah,
But
they signed this on April 29th.
what? To do already they
It,
took action without talking to us?
I
Nancy,
think
can you?
it's crazy. Do you want me to share it?
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. Or
No,
email it to us.
yeah, I can email it as well, but I can share it on the screen right now. It's pretty
Lovely.
short,
Thank you.
but yeah, I'm not happy.
I can't believe they would do that without talking to the community.
CAC, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So, kind
I
of,
wonder
Let's
if
see
they
if
talked
this
to
is it.
Jeff and Jeff said that it was the community supported.
No, I don't think he would. I don't think he would.
No.
But this question had just come up, and Guy had meant to email you back, but I was trying to get some information first, and then bam. So I can't think that they could get something through this quickly. Wouldn't it have to go through the planning commission too?
no.
No? Okay.
Yeah, Nancy, can you email that to us?
Yes.
Please, thank
Yes,
you.
I will.
And when did this is like
It was just signed
okay.
on the 29th. It was Thursday.
Okay.
And then it has attached to it this order out 2017, not the 80s, sorry, where it said that they were supposed to oh, this is from the NCAC. No, apparently there was an ordinance in the 80s. Sorry,
88,
I'd just
89, there
gotten
was
this.
an ordinance. Yeah.
Yeah,
88, 1888, 1988. Yeah.
88-45.
Yeah.
And they're saying that they're ordering that it be revoked. So it was just done, bam.
so in
If Jeff,
2017, there was a notice to the NCAC,
Right.
and now they're acting on it.
Or the
No,
CAC
this
got a
is
notice.
this is from the NCAC. No, it is a notice to the NCAC. Excuse me. Yes. Does anyone know Richard Hook? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Never met him.
What about Richard?
So, well, he was the chair of the NCAC at that time. So it concerns the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners position for current ownership and legal right-of-way status of Hawk Creek from Corvallis to Nesco North.
Thank you for sending that.
Yeah.
I appreciate
So
it.
this is in response to something the CAC asked for clarity on.
Apparently, I mean, this is all that was attached. So, oh, well, no. What's this? I hadn't even gotten this far down. I'm sorry, I just got it. this afternoon. So April 20. Oh, so Chris apparently on April 24th. So this happened between April 24th and April 29th.
That's because I've been emailing him about what's the legal
Yeah.
ability.
And not just you, it came up also, Susan Schoenberg had
Schoenberg.
raised a question about it, and
Flooding, right.
yeah. So yeah, so I'll send the whole thing. Gosh, this is long. I didn't realize it was so long.
Yeah.
So there's a
So
lot here.
We gotta
So
look at this.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So anyway, I'll contact Chris and Sarah because it certainly isn't following any procedures I understand should be happening without any kind of input. But yeah, it looks like it's the whole history here.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if they went the other way and they actually, probably because they don't have the funding, but
Well,
nice if
forget
they went
about
the other way and just made it a county road.
well, there's all kinds of legal things here in terms of well, one, you got what North Nescoin and others, the title companies are doing.
Yeah.
This because it says that they don't have access to their property without going through private property. You've got the fact that this has been a road, it's even on the GIS system as a road. It's been used as a regular public road for years. How about adverse possession? I mean, doesn't that make that a county road? Everyone knows, and Chris and I talked about this. I mean, I can't remember how many. There's 29 private properties that own part or some of that road because when they built the road, they didn't go across the easement that was designed for the road. So they went to the whim of various property owners. So they moved it out, moved it east, moved it west, did all kinds of things based on what the property owner. We got the road that we got. But it was a county road. It's been used as a public road. I don't know if Chris says he's worried about maintenance, and then I pointed out that the county, in fact, did major maintenance on that about 7, 8 years ago on that road. He didn't know that. And I think that may have prompted this too. But this is awful. You know who, Lynn, you may want to send this to your HOA.
Yes, I do.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not the team expert on this matter, but Nancy, as soon as you send it to me, I will send it along because I think that I don't know its current status, and I'm surprised something happened and no one's talked about it.
And I would also, and Rand, you and I, we can send it to Richard, since he was the leader on that, trying to clarify that.
Uh-huh.
And he's still a property owner there.
Yeah.
And the what else would I heard just recently that there were negotiations with the Waltons to get through the S curves with the sewer district to get a right of way, and those negotiations failed just recently, in the last week or two. Water has our line going through there. There is a utility easement. Anyways, wow.
What's the date of that opinion, Nancy?
It was
29th.
last Thursday, the 29th.
Okay.
And the
Unbelievable.
original note from Chris was the 24th. So I didn't know you could actually get things through that quickly. But
Wow.
anyway, I will follow up also.
The
Please
other
keep
thing,
me in
Nancy,
the loop, Guy, if you're doing some of this other,
Yeah, no, I'll copy you
all
on
of you. Because
And
I think
Nancy,
I'm gonna contact Sarah and Chris about this because it just seems like anything that's a new ordinance should have been able to have an opportunity to weigh in and get our members to weigh
Sarah's
in.
going to say she has no knowledge or authority on this. I've already talked to Sarah about this, which is fine. She doesn't. But I would
The
first
process,
contact.
though, she would.
Uh,
Don't
the
you
fact that
think?
it didn't come to the CAC That's what I would
Right.
ask Sarah about. Why
That's
didn't
what I
it go to
mean.
the CAC?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, she has. And the other thing is, I can't remember who the new chair is. They just elected a new chair, or can't remember. Aaron's not chair anymore. I'm not sure who's chair,
Of
but I
what?
would contact the chair of the county commissioners and
Oh,
say, we just seen this. Why weren't we notified, the CAC, that this was being discussed? This is a huge issue in our community, and we can't believe that it happened like this. So, but let's read through the whole thing first to make sure we understand what it is.
Yeah.
And then,
I'll forward it to you. I'm also going to CC Jeff because he is our official roads person, although it's mainly for this 20-year transportation study
Yeah,
thing.
Jeff
But
Jeff is potentially directly involved in benefiting from this
oh,
decision.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And so,
conflict
I
of
mean, talk
interest
about
for
conflict
sure.
of influence. If he actually is the one that's giving advice to the county, it's a conflict of interest.
Exactly. And that's, I mean, we talk about, we all declare no conflict of interest when we were advising for the county. And he has a direct conflict as a property owner who's been blocking that thing and promoting this thing forever.
Well, and suing the county, isn't that correct?
He sued the sewer district.
Oh, the sewer district, okay.
Yeah.
that's done though at this point, right?
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, he lost.
He lost.
Well,
So
on
this
a,
is his back door, maybe.
it was
Wow.
it
Wow.
was a decision on statute of limitations, not on the merits, right? But still, yeah.
Yeah.
he lost. Okay, well, interesting.
Wow. I'm glad I mentioned that I thought it was an issue we needed to resolve. And it was only because, that Chris and I were going back and forth a little bit last week, and when I said, I asked him, how do we get access to these public properties? Um, wow. And who, the liability? Do we put up a sign? I said to Rand when this first, do we put a sign up at the S curves? This is private property as you go forward on that road?
I think the county may have a sign that says they are not able to maintain the road past this point.
But Rand, they already have an order from the county commissioner saying they will not maintain local access roads. So they already have something in place that says they won't maintain that road. It's a local access road. It goes for all the roads in the village.
Well, no, we showed you that earlier. There are only certain roads that are local access roads, the gravel roads, not the
No,
paved roads.
no,
Well, Tom, show us the map, Tom.
Yeah, there's some that are county roads in there.
they're
in
all
the
county.
village.
They're all county roads. Everything in
Right,
the
but
village is a county
some are
road.
not maintained, and those are local access roads, which I
Right.
believe on the map are indicated as maybe Hillsborough and Forest Grove or something, because they're,
Well, according to
Yeah,
Chris
well,
Lady, everything inside the village is a local access road.
When he came in to talk to you guys and then came back and he talked to
Yeah.
the membership in February, he actually showed certain ones that were local access and that were not considered
Yeah.
county responsibility.
Down here, these are not
Yeah, right.
maintained.
Right.
These are theoretically maintained. To get orange and yellow, which not exactly great.
where's the
contrast.
yellow?
Can you
Yellow's
block it
down
up?
here.
Was
Where's the legend?
here, like Hawk
That's one
Creek.
thing they're great about
here.
is
So near the top up here, my cursor's there, but you can't see it. Let's see, up by 92412, to the east of that, that's a yellow one.
down
That
here.
the legend indicates.
And it looks like a yellow one up.
They're all county roads. Everything in the
No,
village is a
I
county
know,
road.
but there are two ways that they rate them. One is
Right.
local access roads they don't do, but
Where's the legend that says local access?
I've seen it
Uh,
before, but I don't see it now.
I don't see it now.
I think you have to
I never
scroll
see.
down there on that layer list.
But see,
get
Hot
to
Creek
it.
Oh, there
Hills,
it is.
Hot Creek
Okay.
Hills is yellow because those are local access roads that, yeah, they're private. I thought they were privately owned roads.
It's measuring. It used to be there.
There's a scroll thing on the right bar there, Tom. Looks like you can scroll up to get other types of options. Down,
That?
down further. No, down further. Down there. Scroll up from there.
Like use that bar.
Yeah, there you did. Oh, nothing useful though. Okay, never mind.
I'm pretty
It
sure,
used to,
according to Chris Lady, that everything in the village, certainly on
Well,
some,
there's yellow over there up in the 32.
that means they're
Six.
county roads. They're county roads,
yeah,
but the local access, the county commissioners declared these local access roads, everything in the village. And I think if you ask Chris, I know Chris has told me that, that's what they're
Well-
considered by the county. Yes, they're county roads, they're local access.
that's not what I remember here.
That's not what he said at the meeting.
Mm-mm.
Uh, well, if they were to be maintained, they certainly haven't done it, have they?
No, they
Well,
haven't, and they admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
he said they didn't have money for it. But yeah,
They do
I think
it out
that's
on-
where the big project last year with the Goodnight Pavers, that was a nice partnership with the county.
yeah, no, I'm
But yeah, Guy doesn't agree. So,
well,
Oh.
aside from that,
Okay.
all right. Well, I don't think we're going to resolve this right here anyway,
Yeah.
but it definitely is kind of feels like the back door was used on this
oh my God.
activity. So we need to find out why we
Yeah,
were
get it to
included.
us. We need to read this stuff and see what.
Guys, I'll be right back. I just have to go get my dog, but I'm still, I'll be right back.
Oh, I don't think this dog got fed. Not me, my dog.
Are we done with the map?
Yes. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, so
Okay.
we have differing recollections on what Chris said.
Yeah, because I remember seeing yellow roads and
And orange.
ochre-like roads relative to yellow, although yellow can be ochre sometimes.
I tell you're an
And-
artist,
and
friend.
distinguishing that there
Okay.
were only about 4 or 5 in the village that were local access roads and the other ones were maintained. So, but whatever, we will seek clarity on a few different counts here. A
Yeah.
lot of clarity being sought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disappointing that that happened, for sure.
So we have,
So I have a whole
Things you-
list of things to talk to Sarah about and
yeah.
talk to Chris about and go back to Jeff too. Wow.
So Jeff wanted to tell me that whole story when I first became chair of the NCAAC, and I told him straight out, unless it's on the agenda, I have no reason to talk to you about this, and I don't want to hear it. So he tried twice, and I never had him tell me his whole story, because it wasn't an agenda item, and that wasn't what I was going to listen to. So 6 years later, here he is. Seems like he pulled something off.
Well, I don't think we can assume that, Ren. So let's keep open minds here. And
Okay, I'll try.
I feel like we know considerably less than we did when we started the meeting.
That's right. It's been a rough one here. We've learned less than we thought we knew.
lots to follow up on. So
Yes. Okay, so with 10 minutes left, do we have any other rabbits to pull out of our hat here?
Is our next meeting on the 18th?
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah, that's for the date we set.
okay, great,
Okay,
thank you.
And summary of the changes I'll make to create R44 I'm going to add inline guys text. Make a note that we need to have a discussion about firearms and explosives. And also that I need to tidy up the thing on fireworks to correspond to what we discussed today.
Okay,
Any
thank
other
you.
changes?
I don't believe so. Um, the next agenda will include some updates about these subjects. And also, we hope to have at that point, Sarah in on the meeting to deal with the areas that she's taken on, and give us some updates on their decisions about both policy and what we can, what we can say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for hanging in there, everyone, and some illumination on some things that don't seem very illuminated. Uh, so thank you, and I believe we can adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Rand. Thank you, Nancy.
Rand.
Thank you, Tom, everyone. It's
Thank
a
you.
lot of work.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
Thank
all.
you all for your time today too on the fireworks.
Yeah, sure. You bet.
Bye.
Bye bye.